What the hell was that bitch Victoria doing in this movie? The Invitation. So The Invitation is a new vampire thriller directed by Jessica M. Thompson and stars Nathalie Emmanual, Thomas Doherty, and a bunch of other people. After meeting a long-lost relative after taking a D&E test, Evie is invited to attend a lavish wedding in the English countryside. There, she meets a devilishly good-looking man who she quickly falls for. But while things seem perfect at first, it soon becomes clear to Evie that something is afoot, and that everything may not be what it appears to be. I saw the trailer for The Invitation and got very excited because, honestly guys, I'm a very huge sucker for gothic style horror. And no, vampires being involved in this movie is not really a spoiler because, I mean, it's in the trailer. So I went into The Invitation pretty optimistic. And I would be lying if I said I didn't enjoy myself while watching this film. And I like to think that I got what I wanted in the fact that this movie feels very much along the lines of a gothic style horror film. It has a very creepy and haunting atmosphere, and the scares that are in the movie do land. There's a scene in this movie where two characters go into a cellar, and it's one of the more frightening moments of the film. There's a few genuine surprises here that I think the general audience will get a kick out of when they see this. It's also very pretty to look at. Some of the sets and environments in this movie are spectacular, and a lot of this film does feel like a callback to classic vampire films like Nosferatu and Dracula. There's never really a scene in this movie, at least until the beginning of the third act, that feels out of place. And I do say it like that because I do genuinely believe that this movie does have problems. Nathalie Emmanual does a pretty good job in this movie. She's very funny, enthusiastic, and very charming. The movie works very hard to make her as relatable and likable as the movie can possibly make her. And throughout the film, you kind of get to go on a journey with her. You get the sense that she's kind of just looking for her place in the world and just looking to find a family again. Only problem is, this is probably not the family that she was intending to find. And when things start to unravel around her and she finally sees what her newfound family is, you do feel pretty bad for her. I haven't seen Nathalie Emmanual in much, but she did a pretty good job. Thomas Doherty probably had the best performance in this movie as Walt. If vampires were real, I would 100% believe that this guy drinks blood and sleeps in a coffin. He's very mysterious, but very charming in a way, and part of the fun of this movie is just kind of figuring his character out. Because from the jump, right when you meet this guy, you could just tell that something is very off about him. Plus, Evie falls for him almost immediately. That probably should have been the biggest red flag. And as much as I liked his character, he does kind of tie back to a few of the things that I did not like about this film. And while I did appreciate the classic feel and take on the vampire that this movie gave me, to me though, it just feels a little too safe. It's so traditional and classical to the point where you just kind of get the sense that they were a little afraid to try something new with the vampire mythos. And at one point, the movie basically just comes out and admits that Walt is essentially Dracula. Like, he starts talking about his lineage and all the different names he's been called through previous generations. He mentions at one point that he was once called the Son of the Dragon. And this movie also just kind of came off as very predictable and cliche at times. There's a lot of moments of foreshadowing that completely spoil any kind of mystery that comes back up later in the film. That was a very big letdown. I don't like it when movies kind of jump the gun and give me everything all at once before the narrative has even gotten to those points. Leave some stuff for us to discover on our own. That's what makes movies like this fun. And the third act. What the hell? The first two acts of this film are great. They brought a lot of good horror-esque moments and tension and atmospheric building to the forward front. And all the characters felt very genuine and fun, but man, when that third act hits, it's like all of that good stuff from the past two acts just gets thrown out the window immediately. All the characters all of a sudden just become really cheesy-ass cartoons, and all that tension and atmospheric buildup is traded in for really bad CGI fights between vampires. I don't get it. Like, I completely understand what they were trying to do towards the end, but it all just felt so out of place. All the good stuff about the film ultimately just kind of gets undone by the third act. I kind of feel like if they had executed the third act in a whole nother way, this movie would have been great. It had me hooked and had me going, but just towards the end kind of fell on its face. But even though it does that, for what it's worth, I still enjoyed The Invitation. It manages to deliver on the stuff that makes a good atmospheric monster flick, but still suffers from a climax that just tried way too hard to go big instead of being simple and subtle like the rest of the film. I'll probably end up revisiting this one when it comes out on Blu-ray because I still enjoyed it enough to own it. I feel like The Invitation is just a fun time at the movies, and that's it. It's a fun matinee. Popcorn is, it's optional. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Wow, this is, I'm still trying to play catch up from August, so yeah, I'm kind of glad I'm getting this done right now. I still have my review for 3,000 Years of Longing to do, so keep an eye out for that review in the future as well. And I did get a chance to go see Barbarian and Brahmastra, so keep an eye out for those reviews as well. September's got some pretty good stuff coming out. I'm pretty excited. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And as always, I'm the Unbiased Movie Nerd. I'm saying peace, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace out, everybody.